I will say that 3 in a row in the NFL.
That's good.
I don't care who, where, what, when, how. You win 3 in a row, that's a good sign. You have to be pretty good. And I also think to make this trip, to go overseas against a talented quarterback, that's not a bum quarterback. He hasn't played up to his expectations, but that's not a backup's backup. That's not some rando. That's a number 1 overall pick who got $250 million, whatever he got. And that's 2 routes in a row, one of which you packed up everything, and with a shredded secondary, too. You're down 3 starters in your secondary, and you routed them. So I do think it's something other than just 4-2, because the 3 in a row matters, the consecutive routes matter, and I think the figuring out, the number of offensive touchdowns being scored right now, very un-Bears-like.
What, the back-to-back 5 offensive touchdowns?
This is starting to look like real football.
I'm with you, and in some points, that's what I'm saying. They can beat bad teams, and they dominated a couple of bad teams, and you have to feel good about that. They just haven't played anyone. And this is going to change after the bye, by the way. They go on the road. They face Washington and New England and Arizona. They face some teams that offer unique challenges.
I don't think New England offers a unique challenge other than the point spread.
Okay. Listen, we're going to take this week
maybe it's unique. It's just not much of a challenge.
We're going to take it week by week. I haven't seen this team win a true road game. They've won a bunch of games at home in a row going back to last season.
That's true.
But they are 0-2 on the road this season. They've got more road games than home games left on the schedule.
You are listening to a Plumbers 911 Football Monday presented by Fireplace and Chimney Authority and Busey Bank. That's Marshall Harris. I'm Dan Bernstein. It's the Bernstein and Harris Show, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Ray Diaz is our executive producer. Adam Studzinski, our associate producer and sound man. Brandon Fryer helping out. Connor O'Donnell is managing the video and the Twitch feed, which you should always be checking out at twitch.tv/Chicago670 The Score. They have chosen to take their bye week after the London trip, and man, the timing is just right to start getting people healthy. I am concerned about a hamstring pull at the minimum for Kyler Gordon. We're going to learn more today from Matt Eberflus. Obviously, they're going to have to get him an MRI, Gordon, not Eberflus. And they're a different defense without him.
Their defense is different, yes, but they were adequate to stop a bad team in the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yep. And a team that surprised me in the manner in which they played. And they looked a lot like a Bears team I remember at the start of the season with the penalties in the red zone, drops in the end zone.
Oh, the drops were brutal.
So, I immediately what came to mind was we just saw not very long ago the Bears couldn't get it done in the red zone because they were having penalty issues, pre-snap, whatever you want to put. And then you remember back, there's a reason Keenan Allen's first and second touchdowns came in this game. Remember, he had a chance at his first touchdown earlier and he just dropped the ball? Mm-hmm. So I think this Bears team is better than these teams they've been beating because they have become more consistent. They have become less penalty prone. They are just playing a better brand of football than a lot of teams in the NFL right now.
The Bears only had 2 penalties. One was an illegal formation on the opening kickoff.
Yes.
And the only other one that I had here was on 3rd and goal in the third quarter, an illegal shift.
When they went back 5 yards, yes.
And they went back, and then it was 3rd and goal on the 10, and then it was the Allen touchdown that made it 21-3.
Listen, if you're going to throw an interception, as Caleb Williams did, because you threw a bad ball, you get mad at yourself. You say, we got to do better than that. And then you come back with not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 straight touchdown drives. And then the only reason to score the next time is because the field goal was missed. And at that point, you had a backup long snapper in. There's a lot going on there where the Bears have to feel pretty good about where they sit now with a week off.
A week off to heal, a week off to figure out what this offensive line situation is going to look like, because now that you've found, we were all over Chris Morgan and Shane Waldron because of the offensive line issues, and because of their willingness to play some of their backups, to put Murray out there, to put Pryor out there. With Bates and Borum coming back, you got decisions to make. Nate Davis, and they screwed it up in the broadcast. They said with Nate Davis hurt, and I yelled at the TV, I'm like, he's not hurt.
Healthy scratch.
He's fine. He's just not playing. So that's guaranteed money. That's dead cap anyway. I don't know if they would release Nate Davis.
I have two names to offer up as suggestions here. Okay. Speaking of healthy scratches, Velus Jones Jr., Kari Blossingame. Explain why you need them.
I don't.
Okay. So I think there's some room here to figure things out if you're the Bears. And they have time. That's the good news, is they have time before they potentially activate these guys for that game in Washington. The other thing I wanted to make sure I point out, because we've had this discussion going for a few weeks now, can we give a moment and just say, what up, Keenan Allen?
Yes. Yeah, I needed that.
Yeah, because I know I asked you, hey, Keenan Allen's back, and you were like, show me you can get open.
I needed that because I was getting extremely concerned about his overall viability. And the touchdowns were terrific. I was more impressed with a couple perfectly placed throws to him for first downs.
And that's my thing with Keenan Allen, right? He had 5 targets, Dan. He caught 5 balls, Dan. Every single catch he made was either on 3rd down, 4th down, or for a touchdown. That's clutch right there. That's exactly why Ryan Poles went out and traded for this man, and he is delivering the goods here. It took a few weeks because he started off hurt, but now he is absolutely delivering the goods of why you trade. The answer, it was 3 weeks ago. Bill Belichick was on national TV complaining, I don't know, they probably should have built out from the line, blah, blah, blah. Ryan Poles has got to be sitting here looking at everybody, now what? Now what? My quarterback is quarterbacking. All of his weapons are weaponing. Now what?
The protection's still not ideal.
It's not. I'm not making any bones about that particular part of it. Although he took 3 sacks, but for minimal losses of yardage. And the other thing is, not only did he utilize his weapons, he showed that he is, even if he doesn't want to be, a dual threat weapon himself with some of the play calling and the fact that he ran 5 times for a career high, over 50 yards, and every time he tucked that thing to run, first down. Every time.
And slid safely. He didn't wait until the last second. He found an open patch of grass. One time it was right on the NFL logo.
I was like, is he TO? Because he turned and aimed to the middle of the logo, right?
But I have no problem with his self-preservation instinct. I also thought you were going to bring up the fact that his recognition of when a play is not going to work, and he was okay throwing it away. And there were a couple times when he gave himself a chance to do something special, but he didn't overdo it. He didn't double back twice. He didn't expose himself. The throw to Kmet, when he allowed Kmet to get off of his block and trickle down into that little open, slack water area, that was a perfect opportunity where his feet bought him time to make what was a 27-yard gain there. But I do think that it's clear he's finding a balance. I love when they break the huddle early. He got into a rhythm the moment they picked up tempo, the start of the second quarter, where it was after a punt. It was right after Scott Daly, the long snapper, got hurt, and they started playing a little more up to speed on their own 19. And the autonomy that he's been given to get out of the huddle, to read, to call a couple plays in there, that impressed me. The more opportunity he has to run the show, the more comfortable he seems.
And that's why I said in transition a moment ago, it just seems like this is a guy that now I'm taking for granted. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying I'm not looking at him in the way I was looking at him just 3 weeks ago. I'm looking at him as like, that's a capable quarterback. He's going to make the right decision and get it done, and that's fine. And if they win or lose. And the Bears as a team, when they saw a weakness in Jacksonville, they stepped on their necks and did not let up.
You know the college basketball trope we always hear in March, and it used to be when guys stayed 4 years, you heard it a lot more. But it's like, well, he's not a freshman anymore. Now he's gone through a full season and he's better. He's not a freshman anymore.
6 games in, he's not a rookie anymore.
That's when do we start hearing some of that? When do we start recognizing that this guy has been carrying himself professionally for multiple years now? And I said going into the season, he may be an NFL rookie, but he's not a first-year pro because he has been paid a lot of money to do this as a job.
I think what I'm honestly waiting on, I consider this pre-bye, the non-conference, if you will, and to speak in college football terms, since you were just going back to college with it. If they can win on another team's turf, especially a team with a winning record such as the Commanders, who played Baltimore well yesterday. Baltimore's just a better team.
They're tough, man.
Like the Ravens. And see, what the Ravens game did for me, watching that game, and then remembering how the season started against the Chiefs, we don't want to say the Chiefs are great because they just play every game super close, but they get the job done. And so I have to pay respect to a guy who's won through 3 Super Bowls already in Patrick Mahomes. And I have to pay respect to Lamar Jackson, who has guys like that blocking him from being able to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and they put on a clinic with a discipline of their pass rush. They do not get pushed out of gaps. They squeeze and contain. They keep rushing without going too wide and getting caught up the field. And there's a lesson there for going against Jaden Daniels, but that's going to be...
That's down the road. We're not even worried about that right now.
Plenty of time to talk about that.
One thing that caught my eye, I don't know if you saw after the game, Andre Sisco, who had that interception, he said, basically, they played with a lot of quit.
Oh, that's where I'm going to ask our next guest about.
Okay, because I was like, all right, I like that, because once you make a team quit, and I don't think they came into the game with quit, but once you make a team quit, that's your game to win. And they did it. And we saw Tyson Bagent for a second straight game. A lot of things you can point at and just be like, yeah, the Bears done made Bearing look a lot different than it has in the past.